Will I tell you guys about how I accidentally snitched on my sister in high school for sneaking out? So she was in 12th grade and I was in 9th grade, but I probably had the maturity level of like a 5th grader and the knowledge of a 5th grader. To put things in perspective, at this time I was sleeping with my little brother because we would stay up all night and play Minecraft. Very well under what I should have been at my age. So one night, me and my little brother finished our Minecraft Chronicles. And I believe I fell asleep for a little bit, but then I noticed my sister's light was on, so I was like, I'm gonna go be nice and turn that off for her. So I went to turn her TV off, and I noticed there was blankets covering her on her bed, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's not gonna be able to breathe. And when I tell you, this is literally my 9th grade thoughts. So when I pulled the blanket back to help her breathe better, I saw these pillows in position that looked like a human. And this is gonna sound so dramatic. After I did that, I noticed her curtain was blowing and it's nighttime, so everything was more dramatic to me. So in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody kidnapped my sister, left her TV, her light on, made it look like there was somebody still sleeping in her bed so that they could get away with this. So I'm already freaking out, already on the verge of tears, and I'm like, I have to go run to my parents' room and tell them that Sarah's kidnapped. And how naive I was at the time definitely kept me from understanding the situation, obviously. So I go into my parents' room and I'm like, guys, Sarah's kidnapped, and I'm crying already. And the first thing my mom does is hop out of bed and goes, Sarah snuck out. And I was no part of me thought that. I was like, no, mom, she's kidnapped. You don't understand. The curtain was swinging in the dark. So I start sitting on the couch while my parents are calling her and going outside to see where she's at. And I'm crying, but at this point I'm maybe I did accidentally snitch. So my sister gets home and she's explaining her side of the story to my parents and why she had to do what she did. And I'm just sitting there So at this point, she's obviously a little sad because she got in trouble. I would have got in trouble too. And I'm just I'm going to go in her room and comfort her. And don't think I'm a snake because I didn't know. Not my stupid self saying to her, I wouldn't have told on you. I just thought you got kidnapped. She goes, you told? Yeah, that was me. Moral of the story, if you ever think you're not a cool person, at least you're not me.
I cannot be the only one where you're in school and you literally break your arm or something. Or your knee is split open. There's literally blood everywhere and you're in so much pain. You've literally just broken a bone. So then obviously you're going to go to the school nurse or medical room or whatever. And all they would say is put a wet paper towel on it. You would just stare at her in disgust. Miss, I've broken my arm. Are you seriously just going to sit there and watch me hold a stupid wet paper towel on it? And then they say oh, don't worry, sweetheart. I'm trained to do this stuff. Well, you're clearly not, hun. Can you not call my mum or something at least? Just do something. Because wet paper towels do not cure anything. They're not made of magic.
Story time. My best friend and I have known each other for about 3 years. Now, there has always been jealousy between us. We're very competitive because we're both models, and we're always trying to one-up each other with the jobs we get. Luckily, we both do pretty well. We both modeled for Kylie Cosmetics. When it comes to men, we both tend to go for the same type of guy. And yes, he's always a little bit toxic. Well, this time around, my bestie decided to start dating a regular guy. He works at an office and he's not toxic at all. In fact, he's got money, stability, doesn't have any mental health issues. Obviously, seeing the fact that she got with somebody who was healthy made me feel like I wasn't doing enough. And after meeting this guy, I realized just how good he is. He's also pretty attractive. I knew that their relationship would not be good for me. I became extremely envious. I was angry at her all the time. That's when I started making up lies about him to my best friend. Told her that he would stare at me a lot and that it made me uncomfortable. Part 2 is up. Disclaimers and on my story time. That's when I started making up straight up lies about him. I told my best friend that he would stare at me and that it made me uncomfortable. And when I told her this, she went crazy on him. She actually confronted him in front of me. Trust me, I wasn't expecting her to do that, but he went out of his way to apologize to me and told me that he didn't mean to make me uncomfortable. And he said that if he even stared at me, it was probably a mistake. Y'all, I know he didn't stare at me. I was lying, but he still apologized to me. This is when I realized just how good a guy he is. And this made me want him even more. I was angrier and more jealous than ever. My envy levels were through the roof. Every time they went out on a date, I would try to sabotage it somehow. I'd go over to her house to help her get ready and randomly start doing her makeup and force her to be late. One time I even pretended to drop a glass of water and I wet her hair just so that she would be late to the date. And it started working. They began fighting and she would tell him that he had no patience with her and he started calling her flaky. This is when I had to go to Instagram. I made an account and pretended to be another girl. I started messaging him, but he wasn't replying. What I did next is bad. Part 3 is up. That's when I slid into my bestie's boyfriend's DMs pretending I was somebody else. Disclaimers are not my story time. Storytime. I spent 2 weeks creating this fake account. I found a random Brazilian model online, and I basically stole all her Instagram pictures. I went ahead and made the account and started posting every single day, multiple times a day. And I even started posting on the stories, like stealing her pictures and pretending it was uploaded from that day. I was really good at it. I started messaging him, but nothing. Eventually, I replied to one of his stories, and he did end up seeing that one. But he didn't reply, so I knew I had to take it a step further. I know that he's in financing, so I reached out to him with a question about finance. This is when he replied. He offered to give me a free consultation online. Instead of saying yes to that right away, I started asking him questions, and he was answering. But eventually, I asked him what city he was living in and if he wanted to hang out. This is when he politely said that he would go out with me, but that he has a girlfriend and that nothing could happen. Told him I was new in town and that I needed friends. He sent me a list of restaurants that I could go to. I mean, how nice is he? But still, he kept it really professional. So I took all of the evidence and I went to my best friend. She hit the roof. She completely believed everything I said. It only took me 2 hours to convince her to leave him. Part 4 is once I convinced my best friend to break up with her boyfriend because I wanted him, everything was easy. I showed her the Instagram DMs, which weren't really that bad, but she still got really mad at him. She even thanked me for going out of my way to prove that he was a lying cheater. According to her, the fact that he even would message his girl back shows that he had an intention to speak to her, even though he didn't actually agree to hang out with her. And I have to agree with that. She ended up breaking up with him that very same day. Then he messaged me asking if I could try to help him get back with her. Of course I said no, but now my goal is to try to get with him. I feel like this is going to be really hard because he's such a good guy, and also I need to keep it secret from my best friend. But I want a man like this, someone loyal and kind. I actually ended up telling my mom about my plan and she tells me not to do it. What should I do?
People in my class are so energetic at like 8 a.m. in the morning. Okay, they're all laughing, having fun, whilst I look like an ugly rat. They're looking fresh as a daisy, just come out the freaking shower, and I look like, I don't know, I haven't slept in months. I also get cranky in the mornings because stupid school and my alarm interrupted my lovely dream with Shrek. Yes, Katie, can you clean my room? Why would I do that? Mum said you have to. Yeah. Mum! What is it? Well, basically, Lucy said if I could clean our room. Is that true? Lucy Edwards! Oh, Mum! Mum's right there, you know. Well, she just hit me! My poor eardrums. Shut up, Katie! Girls! Katie Edwards! Yeah? I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but babies/toddlers really get on my nerves. Because, I would be minding my own business on my phone, and this random 2-year-old would come up to me and be like, oh, hey, do you have any games? Like, yes, I do. But, no, not for you. Okay, so, go away. And they're so spoiled as well. If you do let them play games on your phone, next time you see them, it will literally be begging you for your phone. And if you say no, it will cry to its mom until they go like, oh, please just let them on your phone. No! This is my phone. But because parents are scary, you kind of have to say yes.